Hello and welcome to this Wind and Truth. I guess we'll call it a review. It's been a long time coming. Since the book's come out, I've had quite a few people asking me my opinion, and I've been giving it. I haven't been like holding it close to the chest. We did do a live stream on this channel close to after the book was officially released, going over a lot of it, spoilers and all. If you're just finding the channel, go check it out. It's under the live tab. There's probably going to be another live stream, maybe even two, because talking to people, there is a lot still to talk about Wind and Truth. So in this video, I'm going to try and just give you my thoughts and opinions of how I felt of the book. I'm going to try and stay away from spoilers, just like I said, because the lives are there where we've gone in depth on spoilers. And if we did spoilers, we'd be here till, next Tuesday. So we're going to just try and keep it into generalities. I'm sorry, excuse me. So we're not going to beat around the bush anymore. So if you're just finding the channel, thank you. Please think about subscribing and liking the video. And just to top it all up, just to start off, I'm a Cosmere fan. I'm a Brandon Sanderson fan, coming from a Wheel of Time, fantasy background, obviously on the channel. I love fantasy, and I love Stormlight Archive and the Cosmere in general. So I was very much looking forward to Wind and Truth coming out, to the point where we did a week by week release for the Reactor Mag, the 1/3 chapters that Sanderson was releasing week by week. We were reading them, getting together, and talking about them. Now, in hindsight, that's not the best way to read a book, but we were all hyped for it. We all were ready for it. We all were looking forward to it, and we wanted to dig in. And I think that's probably where I'm going to start with my first criticism of the book, and not the last. But I just want to make it clear. I participate in I have participated in many of his Kickstarters, almost all of them. I have tons of Stormlight stuff. I am a big Cosmere fan. So we're looking forward to this. The first thing I want to sort of call out is the first third of the book does not have enough of the character that is supposed to be like our POV, our main POV character, as we'll say. POV is going to be an important word in this video because, oh boy. So we got those preview chapters. We read them. Personally, I thought most of it was boring, meandering junk. Now, I myself, if you're a fan of the channel, know that I am overly tired of Shalon and her multiple personalities, and that everybody seems to ignore that she has a mental illness. But it sort of gets cranked to 20 to 100, we'll say here. And I find I for something that I already found pretty off-putting, it gets cranked to 100, and it's right in your face for basically the first third of the book. To the point where I thought this was going to be a change, and it was going to be Shalon book 2 instead of Zeth book 5, right? So you start the book with that, with the storyline that, in my opinion, is uninteresting. You have characters that, in my opinion, aren't really interesting, getting points of view. And well, let's just talk about it now. And I'm gonna meander. That's how I go. This is the first time I've really done a book review like this, so bear with me. But let's just talk about that right now. POVs, okay? This book has way too many POVs, in my opinion. Now, I am not a writer. I'm just a reader. Who am I? I'm not, But in this reader's point of view, there are way too many points of view. I think when I looked it up, and if you can, correct me in the comments if I'm wrong, I think it's 33 unique points of view in Wind and Truth. Like Yanagon, we got Yanagon chapters, we got Fen chapters. We got chapters from people that, frankly, don't add anything, in my opinion. it actually hurts. It takes away. Now you're saying Steve, Prophet, whatever you want to call me. What do you mean it takes away? Well, um, I looked at several times. I've looked as I've been discussing this. Looked at chapter 2, day 2, not chapter 2, day 2 as an example, because this book is broken up in days instead of sections, right? So because it's 10 days to the contest, it's broken up into days, which I thought was a good way to do it. I don't think it was executed well, but I still think it was a good way to do it. Day 2, there are 4 single POV chapters. 3 of them are Zeth, 2 of them are flashbacks for Zeth. It's not, and the problem with that is a lot of the times when you're reading something, stuff is starting to develop in the chapter, and then all of a sudden, like that, you jump to a new POV, and then it's sort of like the book is Shalon. It just wants to jump around to different, you know, people in their head to get it out right in the middle of when something is ramping up. It happens constantly. It happens in a lot of battles, to the point where there's a battle scene that I'm sure every single one of us would have wanted to see, and it jumps away, and then we don't see it. Way too many points of view. It distracts from the main characters. It distracts from the characters that we want to get information from, that we want to see what's happening. And it's not only distracting but frustrating when you're reading something and then all of a sudden you're trying to get into it. This mostly happens in Adolin chapters, because Adolin by far is the best character in this book, in my opinion again. But you just, something starts ramping up and then you're immediately yanked away and you don't get the payoff. Sometimes you don't even come back to the payoff. The payoff happens off screen. And I think that's just, it hurts the book quite a bit. In that aspect too, and I know the elephant in the room, and we're going to get to it towards the end, is there's a lot of nonsense in this book. A lot of nonsense where you're reading it and you're like, this is the Stormlight Archive. What? I never would have imagined some of this stuff would be in a Stormlight Archive book. So, but we'll get to that. We'll get to that. So let's see. I think on top of that, so you have what else do I want to say? So most of the characters is extremely frustrating, because you think back to things like the Way of Kings, where Kaladin was acting a certain way, and Kaladin is completely a different person in this book. I feel like Dalinar is a completely different person. Zeth is just weird. The flashback chapters, the ones that most of us have all been looking forward to since we saw the Assassin White. I don't Zeth's backstory is so convoluted and stupid that I don't believe it. I don't know that there's much more to say about it than that, because it just is. The Ghostblood storyline is it's a mess. I don't believe it. I don't understand. And I could be missing a lot of it, granted, but I've talked to several people about it. The motivations of the Ghostbloods are still lost on me. We're busy adding new magic systems, new powers, new gods, and breaking the rules of the world that we've set, to get to a result. This happened several times. I guess we can, it's his world, so he can break those rules, I guess. But it hurts the narrative. Let's see what else. I shouldn't say break the rules, but bends them in a way that's just not interesting. let's see. What else can we say about this? So the characters, the hardest part about this for me is I don't know that I've talked to many people about this now. There's only one character that I found their chapters enjoyable, and that was Adel Colin. Kaladin Stormblessed, I would have never thought there was a day where when you said you're getting to a Kaladin chapter that I would cringe or just sigh. Frustration. I was frustrated a lot because I was just looking for Bridge for Kaladin, and he never showed up. The whole war in this book, I felt like was ridiculous. Just how it was staged, the numbers that are provided, I feel like you're yanked out by the numbers, and then the strategy that they take on to fight Odium in this book is ridiculous. It's unbelievable. It would never work. And well, I mean, you can read the book. I don't know if that was the point or not. You have Venli's chapters. I don't know why they're there. They were uninteresting and just distracting. I felt like they were just thrown in. Yasna ends up being a shell of herself. Navani is Navani, and Dalinar is just watching movies, and then then he does what he does. Trying to stay out of spoilers. The prose is actually distracting, which is weird for me to say because I am not a prose person. I don't generally care about prose, but some of the word usage is very distracting. It pulls you right out of it. Lift is the number one worst character in this book, which, I mean, if you like Lift, I'm sorry, but Lift chapters are almost altogether pointless. But there's a lot of chapters that are altogether pointless. And then there's the we'll call them the weird chapters, the weird stuff. We have a bunch of sexual tension, sexual innuendo, and relationships being forced together in the middle of the end of the world. It's one of those things where I should say me, I am sitting there as a reader going, there's a lot to do and not a lot of time, and we are talking about Sill's Chol vagina, which is in the book. Okay, I've said it a million times. It's crazy that it's in the book. It's in the book. I don't know why. The whole library chapter, if you've read it, is nonsense. We are reminded time and time again that a bunch of Bridge 4 are gay men, which I guess fine, whatever. But then we focus many chapters, it feels like. I don't even know if it is many chapters, but we focus many chapters on Renarin and Relaine and whether they are or aren't gay, and then whether they are or aren't going to get together, which I was interested in Renarin to see some Truth Watcher stuff, which we see some, but it's mostly him being self-confident about liking Relaine. And I'm not going to use my colorful I usually use a lot more colorful dialogue when it comes to describing some of the stuff because it doesn't belong here. There's other stuff that could be doing, or just cut it out. This book is huge. Renarin is supposed to be a POV for Era 2, and getting what we got here, that scares me for the future of the Stormlight Archive. So we have a bunch of injected stuff that is in my opinion unimportant to the plot. We have people that are just great at stuff because they need to be. How the truth watchers are better in the spiritual realm than the bondsmiths. Okay. People making decisions or lack thereof decisions that don't make sense. Not warning people when there's no reason not to. Not acting like the end of the world is imminent. The only one that seems to be acting like the end of the world is imminent is Adolin Kholin. Kaladin and Zeth's storyline in Shinovar is basically a video game plot where you have to go clear one monastery to clear another monastery, and then you just keep leapfrogging until you have all the quest items, and then you can fight the boss. I hated the whole Shinovar storyline, which sucks, because the Shinovar storyline was one of the most interesting things, one of the most unknown things that I was interested in, and I hated almost everything that he did with it. Shoosh, man, saying that is just feels bad. It feels bad saying that because I wanted to like it. So, uh, you know, I don't want to ramble on and on and on forever about this, but the characters, all of them basically have done something that they're not acting like themselves, and the ones that are acting like themselves don't get enough screen time or are cut away from. We get a lot of POVs from people that it just distracts from everything that we want to be seeing. And then we have a bunch of weird injected chapters about relationships and awkwardness and weird advice for advancing on people, that just it takes away from the story again. I don't know if I feel like the quote of Sanderson saying that he had several endings. He sent them out and then he changed it to make one ending to try and, I forget the exact quote, but it was he had the endings written. He sent out the endings. He got feedback, and then he changed it to try and incorporate all the feedback and the wants that everybody wanted from the endings he sent out. I can see that because the ending is a mess. The ending is a complete mess. Now, some things are where they should be or could be, maybe. But I think in my opinion, every ending, every conclusion in this book is completely muddled, and it leaves our characters in weird places, and I just don't like. I don't think I like a single ending, including Adolin in this. Actually, in this example, because even though Adolin was basically the one driving the book, I don't like where his character ended. I don't like how it ended. The rules for this contest were stupid. If you sit in a chair in a room, you own a nation. I hate that. It's just so stupid. And then the bad guys don't act the way they should when they have knowledge that they should. It's sad. It's very sad because Wind in Truth is basically what I've been telling everybody is Wind in Truth is the worst book in the Cosmere now. And I think I stand by that. And I don't, I'm not a big fan of Yumi. I had a lot of trouble with it. But there were times where reading this book, I had to stop and take a break because it was getting tedious and it was getting hard. The 1/3, the reactor mag, the preview chapters. There were times where we didn't go for weeks because it was either the chapters we read had nothing of value to talk about, or the chapters we read were too frustrating to talk about. Without being hyperbolic, it's just a complete and utter miss. I don't. There are very few things that I can say I like about it, besides for a lot of what Adolin is doing. The battle strategy just still leaves me dumbfounded. They set it up in a way that they give the bad guy these tools. They don't use them. We end with 4 radiant. Well, I don't want to spoil, but we barely have any 4th ideal radiants. We have radiants that should be learning how to do things that would completely change the war effort, and they don't. We have Zeth, who apparently knows every. Now, this is so spoiler here, I guess. Zeth, who has trained in every type of. He's trained with every honor blade, so he knows everything. I shouldn't say he knows everything, but he's trained with every honor blade, so he knows all of the, surge bindings. I'm sorry. So I think that would probably be a big help. Maybe he should say something, but he doesn't. So we find out a whole bunch of stuff that we're supposed to believe Zeth has done, but the way he acts and the way he holds himself, and it's unbelievable at best. And then on to top it all off, there is a bunch of chapters that, at least for me, made me uncomfortable, made me scratch my head, made me go, "Am I reading the right book?" Made me wonder, did Sanderson even write this book? Because they shouldn't be there. They take away from what the story should be, and we're left with this. So I then go question myself: is it that we are now too Cosmere and not enough Stormlight? Have we started worrying about the implications of the greater Cosmere, and the Stormlight Archive has been left behind in this? Maybe. Has Mr. Sanderson, gotten way too concerned with mental health and trying to portray that, to where he has ignored some of his storytelling aspects to make sure that mental health is brought up? I don't know. It sure seems like it, because every radiant has to be broken for some reason, and fine, because a Neo Bond can fill the gaps, but so good people like Adolin can't be radiant. Very, very frustrating book. Very frustrating book. And I'm like I said, I'm trying not to spoil, but so overall here, we'll wrap it up because I've been talking for a minute, rambling quite a bit. Sorry about that. So overall, the book is too long. Number 1. Okay, so we'll go there. Number 2, too many POVs, too many chapters that are split POV. You get too many chapters that you start reading it and you get pulled away. Number 3, most of the characters don't act like the characters we know and love. Which I understand characters need to change, but at the core of them, they should still act to their core character. Kaladin doesn't fight. Yasna doesn't think. Zeth, is afraid to touch rocks, which I guess that's canon, but you know what I mean. Renarin's storyline is he's gay. Relane's storyline is he's gay. Dalinar watches movies of the past and then doesn't fight anything. Again, trying not to spoil. Lift literally takes away from the book. It's especially in the audiobook. The audiobook is so annoying that it's just I wish it wasn't there. I mean, Lift at the core could be a good character, I guess, but the way that she is written, I don't understand her, and I wish she wasn't around. That's a personal preference. Take it or leave it. You can agree to disagree, but that's my opinion on Lift. I do have to say this, and this is a spoiler: the fact that Vasher is captured again and has to be saved again is getting very frustrating. The Ghost Bloods are a complete waste of time. The Unmade, I need further explanation because none of it makes sense. I don't understand what they are. You didn't do a good job of explaining any of it, in my opinion. Now, again, maybe I'm just dumb and missed it. So that's possible. I know I'm not the smartest guy. And then the ending is crap. Like, let's just put it on the table. The ending is horrible. In my opinion, the ending is horrible. So it's a slow, overly long book with a bunch of mental health, LGBTQ stuff jammed into it. And I'm not saying I don't even think it's the biggest problem with the book, but to deny that it's there is to just be ignoring it. It's there. It's all over the place. Okay. So there's there's a ton of other problems with this book, but it's there. And the way it is injected into the story is distracting and it hurts the book. It's not natural. It doesn't feel natural. And I know people are going to be like, oh, well, Relaine, it's like, fine. I don't care that I don't care that Drahe and Relaine were gay and great. They were. But the way that is pushed to the front and the way it is portrayed is distracting. It takes away from the plot and it's not natural. In my opinion, you can take away the whole of Shalon and Renarin and Relaine's plot, and the book would be better for it. Again, I'm not going to give it a scale of 1 to 10. I'm just going to, because, I don't do scales very well. But, rather than rambling on even more, I'm sure there's going to be more discussion on the channel, probably some live streams about it. I'm very sad. I am very sad because I love the Cosmere, and I'm at the point now where this book has actually hurt how I see the first the Stormlight Archive as a whole. Era 2 is probably now my favorite section of the Cosmere because of Wax and Wayne. This book retroactively hurt everything in the Stormlight Archive with how bad it wrapped up some of these storylines and how it treated the characters. Spoiler, Rock doesn't show up. Oh, also, I don't know how you feel. Tell me in the comments, but I feel like besides for Kaladin being completely misused and he should have just had a significant other that whipped him into shape and told him to stop being a bitch and start protecting people. Because I'm sorry, giving people therapy, while important, isn't protecting people. He's healing. He's not an edge dancer. He's healing Zeth. He's not protecting anybody. So I'm not saying mental health isn't important. I'm not saying that getting therapy for PTSD and all that isn't important. I'm saying Kaladin Stormlight shouldn't be doing it, and it shouldn't be in my Stormlight Archive book. Kaladin should be protecting the ones he loves by fighting and protecting them instead of just letting his whole crew die. Bridge 4 is a shambles. I don't know how you have taken an idea that you crafted so well as Bridge 4, and you have utterly, completely destroyed it. Bridge 4 is a shambles to the point where I don't even think I don't care about Bridge 4. It's crazy to say that from where Bridge 4 was at the end of Oathbringer, that now Bridge 4 is insignificant. Bridge 4 doesn't matter. Bridge 4 is insignificant. There are no Sigzil is Sigzil. I actually don't mind as a character. I like Sunlit Man. Sigzil is not a good enough character to run Bridge 4. Agree, disagree, let me know in the comments. But Bridge 4 is wrecked. Bridge 4 is gone. Me, getting Bridge 4 stickers and stuff to put, nope. And it, like I said, it's hurt my overall excitement for the Cosmere. It's hurt how I view the Stormlight Archive. I've canceled orders of things, and I'm basically going to be waiting to see the next book that is produced from Sanderson that's part of the Cosmere before I decide whether I am going to continue with the Cosmere or not. This book hurt the Cosmere something fierce. But yeah, so we'll wrap it there. If you want to talk spoilers and stuff, let me know in the comments. Like I said, we have a live stream that we went over a lot of spoilers and talked about our initial opinions. Like I said, I know there's been some talk about wanting to do that again, so that will probably happen. My overall take on this book is it is, again, I'm not going to give it a number rating, but Wind and Truth is the worst book in the Cosmere. That includes Elantris. That includes the Mystery 4. That includes the novellas. And I say that because it hurts everything. It hurts everything. Especially Stormlight, but it hurts the Cosmere. It hurt the Cosmere. And it makes me sad. So please let me know what you think. If you disagree with me, that's cool. Let me know in the comments where you think I got it wrong. And just keep an eye on the channel. I'm sure we'll have some live streams about spoilers and the greater Cosmere and Wind in Truth. So thank you for watching. Sorry I didn't get all kept it pretty low key. No big rants on this one. So thank you for watching, and we will hopefully see you all soon. Thank you. Bye.